138 pounds in the black corner. From St. Louis,
Here comes Mr. Pro.
Andre the Giant.
Gonna get his leg set on the bruiser. Hulk Hogan.
Number one, the greatest WWE champion of all time, and in many ways, the man who made the title what it is today, Bruno Sammartino.
his opponent weighing 236 pounds in the white corner. From Van Nuys, California.
Welcome in to another edition of the Retro Wrestling Rewind. As always, I'm David Fine, alongside my tag team partner, the true Long Island IC, the hell with Zack Ryder, even though he's got a really, really hot and future wife, Alex G. Alex, this week we're talking about Royal Rumble 1992. The belt was held up. Why in the hell does Jack Tunney have the motherfucking belt?
Because Jack Tunney was on the take. That's why.
Seriously, I know Hulk Hogan, he was a champion, correct? But then he got stripped, correct?
He was. Well, no. Hulk Hogan wasn't the champion. The Undertaker was the champion.
Then they...
So they did okay, let's go back. Let's go back to fucking Survivor Series 91, right? So it's Hulk Hogan versus The Undertaker, the gravest challenge, right? This is the first time that the WWF Championship will be defended on Survivor Series, and they had this match, and The Undertaker fucking wins, and fucking Hulk Hogan gets fucking laid out because he's crippled because Ric Flair slid in the chair, and Undertaker broke his neck on the Tombstone Piledriver, apparently.
Okay.
But that wasn't the case. So they do this rematch thing at this Tuesday in Texas. If you watch Survivor Series 91, they constantly plug fucking this Tuesday in Texas. It was kind of a test to see if they could have pay-per-views on any other day other than Sundays or historically Mondays for SummerSlam up to that point. And they were really kind of testing like, hey, what if we give them a budget pay-per-view, much like the In Your House later on. So this was kind of a test to see if this would actually work. It didn't actually work because no one bought this fucking show. So, Tuesday in Texas, Hulk Hogan wins, but he fucking takes the urn, which is kind of gross. He dips his hand in the urn and throws it in fucking Undertaker's face and gets the 1, 2, 3. And Jack Tunney sees this shit because he got laid out before. He's out there. The first time he took a bump. He's out there ringside. That's never happened before. And he kind of sees Hulk Hogan cheating here because, he missed all the other times Hulk Hogan would cheat, but this time he caught him. And Jack Tunney was like, fuck this shit. We're going to hold the belt up. And we're going to have it defended at the Royal Rumble. So the winner of the Royal Rumble will be the new WWF champion.
Yeah, it was it was a great show. Overall, before we go into the meat and potatoes of the pay-per-view, what were your overall thought? It was a good show. It
was fantastic. It's fantastic. This was the last great WWF pay-per-view for a long time.
Why do you say that?
Well, because they kind of transitioned. 91 was really a weird, fucked up year anyway. I don't know what the fuck was going on in 91. I don't know who was writing the fucking shows, but 1991 WWF got really dark. Like, they killed Damien because Earthquake sat on him. Sergeant Slaughter throws fire in Hulk Hogan's face, and we never saw fire before in the WWF. This is not Memphis. What the fuck's going on? Fucking Sarge throws fucking fire in Hogan's face after WrestleMania 7. You have the Warrior getting buried, literally and figuratively, and doing all kinds of crazy shit there. And it was just a really dark, like, they were really doing some kind of, like, edgy shit in 91, like, edgy for WWF anyway. And it was a really, like, if you just watch that year as a standalone from 1990 going into 92, it's really weird and it's really different. And they're trying a bunch of different things. And you had the retirement match with Savage. And you had fucking Elizabeth getting fucking slapped. Just, like, was off-the-wall shit. Like, business was going down. And they're trying to do everything they could to possibly fucking save it from going down. So they went to the extremes here. And this 91 is really dark. So you go into 92... And you have this Rumble, and then the SummerSlam was like the last two really major WWF pay-per-views until the Attitude Era. So a lot of these other pay-per-views in terms of buy rates or just overall quality didn't live up, especially the stuff going on in 93. Probably minus fucking King of the Ring, but that's the Bret Hart show. But if you look at like SummerSlam '93, you look at Survivor Series '93, like those shows are all fucking lame. And you go into '94, and those shows are all fucking lame. You go into '95, most of those shows are lame. '96, they're starting to get better, but most of their shows are still pretty lame. And you go to '97, they start getting good again. So again, this is like the last bastion of like the golden age of WWF in terms of their pay per view, and especially creative in general. They went way into the goofy gimmicks, your Repo Mans and your nails, and that stuff's all fucking lame as fuck. IRS again, lame as fuck, and this is it. This is the end of this particular era, and it's sad to see in a certain way. But I guess you had to go through all this, piles of shit to get to the goodness, which was the Attitude Era, which I don't especially like, but I can say like it was a very
like you said, it was a weird time in the WWF. The first,
the Rockers break up, they gets chucked through a fucking window and shit. Like,
and the first match was a weird tag team. The New Foundation, was Jim Neidhart, Owen Hart.
Baggy pants.
Taking on the Orient Express, of course.
Racist.
It was Kato and Tanaka. Of course, Kato was Paul Diamond. Pat Tanaka.
It's fucking Bad Company.
Yeah, I mean, it's just basically Bad Company with
It is Bad Company, not basically anything.
Okay,
it was Bad Company.
With Mustafa.
Kato's mask is racist because he has the fucking chinky eyes fucking deal on the fucking mask and shit. Like that mask is
what
racist.
were your thoughts on the New Foundation? I mean,
I don't know what they're trying to do something with Owen. Owen was a once in a generational type talent. They've been trying to find shit for him to do since the fucking Blue Blazer, and WCW almost got him in '90 and shit like that. So they really want to do something with Owen because Owen is fucking a fantastic worker, and they can never figure it out until much later. So it's like, oh, we're gonna try to recreate Bret here and put him with Jim. Give Jim a babysitter because he's out of control. He's on the drugs at this point, and he is completely out of control. So it's like, oh, we'll get Owen to fucking babysit him. Owen's, clean cut guy. He's not, doing any of that bullshit. So, we'll put them together and see what happens. And they didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, what's that, man?
I prefer high energy.
I prefer the Orient Express over the New Foundation. I mean, like you said, Jim the Anvil Neidhart was crazy, batshit crazy. I mean,
just like the smoke crack.
Literally, he must have been doing something right.
There's nothing wrong with smoking crack.
Yeah, but don't do it right before the match. I mean, God rest his.
Don't break like fucking $100,000 worth of equipment backstage because you're having a fucking, you're doing drugs. Like that will get you fired. He was fired like 3 times.
I mean, do you think that this point in time it wasn't the best Owen Hart? I mean, he was great, but they put him with Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Do you think that kind of like impeded his career at the moment? I mean, did you?
Yeah, it really kind of siloed him in the lower mid card here. So it's like there's nothing, like he's not going up at this point. He's staying where he's at. Again, they don't really have anything for him until the Bret stuff later on when he turns heel. And he's like, it's one of those things. It's an early example to me of like WWF signing a guy that they don't want the competition to have. But they don't know really what to do with him. Because you don't want him on WCW. That's where he's going to have these matches with fucking Pillman and tear the fucking house down. Like, you don't want that. You can have the matches with Liger that he had in Japan. Like, you don't want any of that. So, like, we're going to sign Owen to keep him away from fucking WCW.
Which, I mean, sometimes that can be a hindrance.
They do it now.
Yeah.
Half the roster in the WWF currently is just, we don't want these guys in the Indies. We don't want these guys in Japan. We don't want these guys at AEW. We're just going to hold them here, and we're going to hold all this talent hostage, but not really know what to do with it. They don't have any plans for fucking Finn Balor or fucking Ricochet or Walter in reality. Those guys are not going to get pushed to the very top, and those are main event talent guys. So
and speaking of main event talents, kind of get off the subject of Royal Rumble, as you may have heard, John Moxley got stripped of his New Japan US title because he couldn't make it over to the show. Do you think they were going to take the title off of him anyway, and they just a way of taking it off of him? Or do you think it was actually legit that since he couldn't make it, they were like, "Fuck it, we're not gonna we're going to take the belt off you and put it between Juice Robinson and Lance Archer.
Well, you want to keep those belts on your guys anyway, so I don't necessarily think he was a long-term solution for that title. I mean, it would have been nice to have him like, hey, we're going to run some shows in the U.S. Moxley's a big star, but I don't even know what his contractual obligations are. I don't know if he can even appear on a New Japan show in the United States. But it would have been nice.
Yeah, I don't know if he can. I mean, I know he can, of course, wrestle in Japan.
Like, Moxley's a star. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. I went to SummerSlam a couple years back, and he was the most over motherfucker with the girls that I've seen in a long fucking time. The girls fucking loved him. His table for his autograph signing was ridiculous. So this motherfucker is over. Fuck what you heard. I don't get, he's not a star. AEW don't have any stars. Moxley's a fucking star. Fuck that.
Yeah, I mean, I like you said, I mean, I think they saw the long term, like, hey, you know, you're not going to be able to wrestle in the United States, and they need the United States title, you know, defended in the United States, and he couldn't get over there because of the typhoon. So
yeah, we need you here.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't gonna. He was. I mean, all I know is that guy is over like Rover, as they say, whatever the hell the kids are saying. But he's really good. I mean, he's.
I don't know any kids who say that shit.
Well, maybe the kids you hang. Oh, sorry, I don't. Oh, you speaking. I mean, you did hang out with kids today at the Chuck E. Cheese. So
I went to the Chuck E. Cheese, man. I used to work there when I was.
When you were a youth. And I thought you weren't allowed around kids at the Chuck E. Cheese.
It's true. No, that's true. I have to wear it.
It's weird, but I mean, overall, this match was just. I mean, I feel sorry for Owen. I mean, he's better than this. I mean,
this match is fucking awesome, though. I mean, not as good as like the Rockers Orient Express matches that they had before, but this for an opening match, like, hey, it's fucking Jim Hart, Neidhart. He's working hard. Owen is doing his thing, and the Orient Express are fucking fantastic. Fuji's out there getting the payday. Good for Fuji. But, you know, it's pretty good. I like the little fucking deal where they put the fucking cane in the corner and they fucking threw fucking Owen through it. That was dope.
You like
nice
that?
little spot. Good spot. I like it.
Next match we had, of course, they were talking beforehand that that Roddy Piper won the Intercontinental title on a house show. And I'm sorry.
No,
sorry.
No, you're the worst person.
I know. I was reversing.
Shut up.
Sorry, I was reversing. The Mountie won the Intercontinental title at a house show. He was going up against Roddy Piper. I mean, this is the first title that Roddy's won, correct, in the WWF, correct?
Yeah, let's go back here for a minute. So, rumor has it, back in the day, the reason why they took the belt off of Bret, because Bret was negotiating with WCW. Whether that's true or not, who knows? But that's always been the reason, because it seems kind of weird. Like, Mountie goes over Bret on a house show. They do everything to save Bret here, which is weird too. He had 104 fever. He was dying. The Mountie gets the win here. Piper comes out, makes the save, and you set up, you know, this Rumble match. So they're really kind of pimping, like, hey, listen, we need Piper and Flair on these house shows. Let's put the IC belt on the line and see if we can jumpstart some of these house shows that are declining. So, like, we're going to put the belt on Piper. And the reason why Piper didn't get belts, a lot of people say, well, Piper didn't need a belt. And that's true to a certain degree. But in reality, the reason why he doesn't get belts is because he's not going to put people over. He's always been pin clean, you know, since he became a major star, a handful of fucking times. If he wasn't going to job clean the Hogan and title matches, why would you put a belt on him? You'll never get that belt fucking off of him. But they kind of worked out this deal that, yeah, Bret's going to take it off you. He's friends with Bret. And Bret, up to that point, was the only person to beat Piper clean in the WWF. And even that was kind of kabuki-ish, too. When we talk about WrestleMania 8, that finished a little kabuki-ish, too. You know, but, you know, you have Piper here getting the IC belt. It's kind of like, hey, look, Roddy has the belt. He's a main event player. Again, he's been part-time for like 3 years. He hasn't really been on the road all that much. You know, he's doing his movies and what have you, and he's doing commentary on primetime for most of '89. And so he hasn't really been around a whole lot. You know, comes back to, I guess you would consider full-time in 1990. He's still doing full-time work in in '91, but he gets the injury with the motorcycle wreck, and he gets the fucking kayfabe motorcycle wreck. We don't know if that was true, but he gets the hip surgery. But when you look at him in early '92, he's in the best shape of his fucking career for sure, 100%. And he goes up and he beats Jacques Rougeau, who I do like Jacques a whole lot. Very innovative moveset. The mounting gimmick was dope as fuck. The fucking shock stick was over. So I like Jacques, and they gave Jacques the belt for, I guess, a week or so. And yeah, Piper taken off of him. And they're really pushing this, like, Piper can win both belts in the same night. And you kind of believed it because it's Piper. He's a big star. He's the main event guy. So he's definitely... if you have a short list of guys who could actually win the Rumble and become champion, obviously your Hogan's, your Sid's, Flair's, Piper's on that list, Savage is on that list for sure. So you're like, oh, these guys can all definitely win. Undertaker.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good match. The fun, I like you were talking about the shocker. Every time they shock somebody, it makes a really, really loud, funny noise. It's just.
Now, I wonder if anyone was ever there live. Did they play that over the house mic, or was that just something for television?
Yeah,
so I wonder, because this show is fucking.
Edited.
There's can reactions like a motherfucker. You can hear they sweeten the fuck out of this. They edited out booze on this show.
I mean, I heard there was a lot of editing in the main event. I mean, that's yeah. I got a question on Twitter from our loyal fans. They ask me.
Yeah.
Huh?
We only have one.
We have a lot. We don't have as many as your YouTube page, but
they're all from the UK.
Yeah, I've noticed that. We switched servers. Podcast hosts, and I've noticed that there are a lot of UK fans. So anybody listen over in the UK, thanks for tuning into the Retro Wrestling Rewind. They wanted to know. You always say kabuki finish. They want to know what the hell you mean by kabuki finish.
Kabuki finish. Like, that shit is kabuki, baby. So that's something Dusty used to say. So something is kabuki-ish, so to speak. It's like shenanigans, tomfoolery, Dusty finish. All kinds of tomfoolery at the end of the match. So when I say kabuki-ish, that's actually a t-shirt with a great kabuki on it. It'd be awesome. But yeah, anytime there's some sort of fucking shenanigans, like basically any kind of non-clean finish. So you got your double countouts, your no contest, your finish to Hell in a Cell, the just most recent Hell in a Cell. That's a kabuki finish.
Hey, see, folks, you ask a question on Twitter, you will get the answer. But I mean,
Twatter. You ever been on Twatter?
yeah. God, I'm not gonna type that in the old browser, especially at work.
Dude, you seem like more of a Christian.
Well, yeah, I mean, what can I'm a swipe left, swipe up, no. Anyway,
I only swipe right.
Well, what did you think about Rowdy as the Intercontinental Champion? I mean, it
was fun.
I mean, he was a great champion in the National Wrestling Alliance.
At 10 years old, I thought it was fucking awesome because those belts, IC belt, WWF belt, they were really close in my eyes in terms of credibility. You know what I mean? So to me, having a guy like Piper hold the belt didn't diminish Piper at all. It helped the belt a little bit, but I had these little marble notebooks, right? When I was a kid, I used to fucking book, right? I used to write just matches like, hey, this is a pay-per-view and this is TV. I used to write fucking TV at fucking 10 years old, right? And one of the things I would do, and it was around this time because I had Hulk Hogan taking on the Mountie for the IC belt. I remember that as plain as day. And to me, there was no difference. Like, they were both super important belts. So there wasn't like there was a tier A or tier level. And like at 92, when I was 10, those belts basically meant like, oh, you guys are the two best. The world champion may be a little bit higher, but Hulk Hogan could wrestle for the IC belt, and I'm not going to fucking bat an eye on it. So much like Piper, I don't bat an eye at this at all because I consider them almost as important as the world belt. So no issues there. And again, they want to put this belt in house show matches with Flair. Try and do something there with that, but I don't think that necessarily doesn't come to fruition. And you go into this really kind of cool angle, this babyface versus babyface match with Piper and Hart, and you can tell when the WWE is desperate because they'll start doing babyface versus babyface and heel versus heel
I'm not a big fan of. I mean they do that a lot now. I mean AEW's kind of, I don't know. I think they're kind of doing that.
Shades of gray. Sorry.
Oh man,
But the cool thing about like Piper, because everyone knows that Piper is an asshole. Because Piper as a heel is not different than Piper as a
yeah.
babyface. No, Piper is gonna gouge eyes and back rake and hit you with fucking plunder and shit like that. So the only thing that makes Piper a babyface is that people cheer for him, and he'll occasionally make a save on a babyface, but he's not necessarily all that different. So it works where Brett's more of a traditional babyface anyway, underdog coming up from underneath. Where Piper, like you go back to that WrestleMania 8 match, he's about to waffle him with that fucking bell. He has the change of heart, puts him in the sleeper, and then we go right into the finish. So that worked, and that was fantastic booking. Fantastic booking. The promo before that match is fucking excellent. Roddy Piper's promo on this show was fucking off the fucking chain as well. Like Piper's at his like his peak here. I don't know. I don't know if he's back on the gas. I don't know. He's on the cocaine again. But Piper is focused. He's in shape and he's ready to go.
I mean, I still think the best match I ever saw, I saw on pay-per-view or on the network, was the dog collar match between him and Greg the Hammer Valentine. That was just a,
Yeah.
I mean,
There was a hidden. You know what's a hidden gem? There's a hidden. I don't know if they taped it, but you can see the promos for it on YouTube. That summer before, this is the summer '83 for Georgia Championship Wrestling. Piper's still there before Ole becomes stupid and fires Piper because he's an idiot. But they were doing dog collar matches in the summer '83. Roddy Piper versus Buzz Sawyer. And the promos for those are fucking insane.
you ever gone on that YouTube hole where you just watch old promos that are for the different towns they're going to? I mean, I just love like
every single
hitting
day.
a fucking YouTube and
Wrestling is on a perpetual loop
Yeah, I mean,
in my
it's
home. Mostly through YouTube at this point because they will just find shit. And it always goes back to fucking Hannibal interviews. And it pisses me off. Fuck this shit. I'm trying to watch fucking like Superstars '88, right? And I get one episode, I get two episodes, and then it fucking cuts to a fucking Hannibal fucking. Everyone knows Hannibal. He does the shoot interviews, former wrestler, blah, blah, blah. Hepatitis C or whatever shit, right? Well, Abdul the Butcher, right? But now he's doing like, now he's doing shoot interviews and he's doing like sort of a tube cast type deal where he's going over the daily and weekly news of professional wrestling, whatever. But it's very fucking annoying because I'm trying to watch, I want to watch Prime Time, and after that episode, it cuts to a fucking Hannibal interview with the Honky Tonk Man.
That's the one thing I think about you. I like about you, love about YouTube. It's like you're watching. Say I was watching a Georgia Championship Wrestling episode. Then they says, "Hey, you want to watch this?" I love watching because you sent me this a couple of times where I can watch an entire year of Memphis. It's just great. I mean, there's so much content. I mean, and not to add any more content to people. I mean, it is a Wednesday, so people want to get over that hump. I know that after they listen to this show, what can they go to, and how can they find your YouTube channel to kind of kill probably 3 or 4 hours the rest of their day before they hit the bricks to head to the house?
Well, here's the deal. You want to go to Retro Wrestling Games, right? That's first and foremost, right? So content that's going up, right? I have this list, right? And I've been busy, so I have this list of videos that I have to finish, right? First and foremost, I have to finish my WCW Mayhem review of the PlayStation 1 game. We're going to talk about WCW Mayhem and the end of WCW. That's going to be a cool show once that drops, hopefully sooner rather than later. In addition, we have the newest episode of the NWA 1984 project. That series is rapidly coming to a close, so we'll move on from that because a lot of these YouTube videos, they're just, they're mini series, so to speak. They're limited. They don't go on forever, right? There has to be an end, right? The reason why I chose to review wrestling video games is that there's so many that's going to last me a long time. And I have most of these games anyway, and I'm in the process of getting more. I just recently purchased, I have it right here. For PlayStation 2, I recently purchased, what is this? King of Colosseum Red. So that's going to be a dope fucking game. It's a Japanese game because I do have a Japanese PS2 because I'm a dick. And I'm going to be able to play that, and I'm going to record that, and we'll talk about that. That's going to be a dope fucking show. In addition to that, we're going to have our playthroughs. Again, we're getting to the Star Wars season here, guys. So we're going into episode 9 is rapidly approaching. So we're doing, Battlefront 2. We're gonna play through that. Check that out. Again, I have a stack of PlayStation 4 games still fucking sealed, on my fucking shelf over here that I have to play through. Battlefront being on there. So since we're going into the season of Star Wars, you have the Mandalorian coming out. So that's why we're doing Bounty Hunter for. That was for PlayStation 2, but I do have the PlayStation 4 version. That was a limited run release, so we're going to play through that. Check that out. We just finished Marvel Ultimate Alliance, the first one, number 1. We're going to head on to number 2 at some point, but number 1's there. We're going to talk about kind of the state of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, after Avengers Endgame. So that's going to be lots of fun. So, again, we're hitting all your pop culture needs here, not just professional wrestling, although we do talk primarily about professional wrestling. But, again, it's going across the board.
I mean, folks, like you said, if you're a Marvel nerd, a wrestling nerd, just a nerd in general, I mean, go to his YouTube page, his Twitter handle, just like it, follow, and this is weird. It's like Alex G doesn't care if you fucking say he's a piece of shit. As long as you're interacting with him, that's all that matters. I mean, interaction is the key, correct?
I just had a guy that tried to convince me that fucking WCW Nitro was a good game. I don't think so. I played that game. I reviewed that game. That game's a piece of shit. But he wants me to take another look. So at some point, I'm going to play Thunder, which is the next iteration of that game. And we'll see if that holds up. See if this guy is full of shit, or maybe I'm wrong. But I have an open mind. If you tell me and you're sincere about it, it's like, hey, you need to look at this again. This game is dope as fuck. You need to learn the controls. Then I will take a look at it. I'm not gonna be like, that's my opinion. It could never change because again, opinions can change.
Yep, my opinion of you has changed many different times. So that's just
especially when I don't wear any pants.
Hopefully you're wearing pants today. So.
I am not.
That's awesome. Moving on, the next match we had the Beverly Brothers, Bo Beverly, Blake Beverly, with my buddy Lanny Poffo, the Genius, taking on the Bushwhackers, Butch and Luke, with Jameson.
Man, fuck a Jameson. First of all,
why fuck Jameson? What the hell did he do to you?
Literally the worst character I've ever seen on a professional wrestling show. And this is up to 2019.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To this day, there hasn't been fucking such a shitty character that I just hated with such vigor and passion. He was like the worst. He was the worst. Now, he was some comedian that Vince thought was funny. I don't know if he's supposed to be stereotypical Jewish or stereotypical New York, or he's supposed to have this Woody Allen type vibe towards him. And he was on the Bobby Heenan show and whatever, but he fucking sucks. Like, again, you put him with the Bushwhackers, I get it. Bushwhackers, I get it. Okay, that's fine, but for fuck's sake, why is this on pay-per-view? Why is he on my television? And why are you paying this guy money to do this shit? You're not making any money. You're losing money hand over fist at this point, and you're giving money to fucking Jameson? Fuck that shit. You're better off giving that money.
Yeah, I mean, what the hell? And
I like the Beverly Brothers. Fucking Destruction Crew. They're a fucking dope team. If you ever watch them in AWA, they're fucking phenomenal, right? And they're, you can put them in these really fucking kick-ass matches with the fucking Road Warriors, right? And you choose not to do that. And you stick them primarily with the fucking Bushwhackers.
The Bushwhackers, I hate this incarnation of them. I mean, I love them as the sheep herders and the New Zealand sheep herders in NWA. But it's just, I mean, it's funny how a great tag team can be great in the National Wrestling Alliance, go to the WWF, and be pieces of shit. I mean,
well, I bet you the Bushwhackers made more money.
Probably, and it's one of those things. It's like they probably didn't give two craps about it. They just wanted
and they're 40. They're like rapidly approaching their 50s
and they wanted.
Point, you know what I mean? This is their swan song. It's easy. They're not getting fucking killed. They're not fucking gaffing themselves constantly. They're not doing the hardcore stuff. They're cartoon characters, and they've made a lot of money doing this. So I don't begrudge them. They were fine. My dad really likes the Bushwhackers.
The one thing that is kind of gross, and I never understood this. Yes, why? I mean, random kids. I mean, that's just gross. I mean, come on, seriously.
You're just asking. Like kids have all types of fucking
I mean,
diseases.
you know who licks people, licks kids? Pedophiles. That's just weird. It's just gross. I mean, ugh.
Yeah. But who licks fucking Sean Mooney though?
The Bushwhackers.
Bushwhackers lick the fuck
I
out
mean,
of
but he's
Mooney
a grown ass he's a grown
a
ass
lot.
adult. So I mean,
Oh, that's I
okay,
don't
he's
know
an
about
adult. Have you listened to his show, his podcast?
No, and I love Mooney. Mooney was a local anchorman here in New York, so I saw a lot of Mooney. I was like, hey, like this guy's doing the news like straight. It's like it's Sean Mooney from the WWF. Like what the
Yeah.
fuck? Him and his twin brother Ian Mooney.
He actually has a twin brother named
It's
Ian.
weird.
Oh,
He does not, but when he first came to WWF on certain shows, they referred to him as Ian Mooney. I don't know why. Like watch old episodes of Spotlight.
that's funny. I love it when they make mistakes, but or why.
Never mistakes. They just changed his
Well,
name. I don't know why.
I've never understood that people, whatever. But I mean, this match. I mean, I think at a different time, if they had the old Beverly Brothers in their old name and the Bushwhackers as the Sheepherders, would have been a good match. I mean, if it was in an AWA or an NWA back in the mid '80s, I think it would have been a lot better. I mean. And you know who you know would have been a lot. This whole fucking match would have been great if Jameson hadn't been there. I wish that guy would just go the hell away. He was never. I don't know. I don't know if he's still alive, but if he is, he sucks. So I just wanted to say that. But
It's like awful. It's like the Rosati sisters were funny at the very least. Like it's funny, right? And then Jameson, man, I don't know. Like this is like some goofy shit that Vince thought was funny. You know what I mean? Like this is like a Vince. This has Vince written all over him. Like I went to a club and I saw this guy.
yeah, I mean, and the funny thing is, people back then, and they may be still doing it now. It's like when Vince has an idea and no one's going to say, "Hey, it sucks," and he just goes along with it, and it's like, hey, okay, whatever. We're still getting paid, so I guess that's a good thing. So.
You can tell, who were guys that. That's why like Shawn Michaels, he gets a lot of shit, but he will tell Vince to go fuck himself in a drop of a hat. Not go. Same thing with Hogan. I wish a lot of guys would do that today. Like if you're a professional wrestler in 2019, and maybe you do have a job with the WWF or you have a job anywhere else, learn this phrase. It will fucking serve you well. And the phrase is, "That doesn't work for me, brother," because that means I'm not doing that dumb shit.
I've heard that a lot in my life. That doesn't work for me, brother.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, but what can I say?
Just like I wish these guys. I know they're on guaranteed contracts, and I know they don't want to fucking breach. You know what I mean? I get that to a certain degree, but there's also, it was like, I'm not doing this. It's like I'm not doing this. It's like it's gonna hurt me. It's going to. I'm gonna end up being a Mike Kanellis on the end. Like he just asked for his release and like his character is fucking completely fucking shitted on. I don't know how he's gonna draw money anywhere else. Like you didn't protect yourself. Protect yourself. Be the honky tonk man. I mean, Vince, if you want this belt, you can come to my house and come get it. But I'm not putting Savage over on.
How he said that?
Like fucking say no. Oh yeah. Well yeah. 100%.
I mean, Honky knew that he was the money draw. I mean, he.
Well, that was the whole thing. A lot of people said that Honky didn't want to drop the belt, but Honky was like, I'm on top with Savage right now. We're selling out everywhere. We're outdrawing Hogan in certain places. Like, we're fucking white hot right now. Why do you want to kill this thing? We're going to fucking, and eventually he just dropped the Warrior in 10 seconds, which is another great idea because you don't, when you beat someone in 10 seconds, you don't really put them over. Yeah. Because it's like, it's you didn't have a match. You fucking attacked me before the bell and then beat me. So, these guys need to protect themselves. Like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, that's a terrible idea. Like, the last guy that probably would say no to shit is probably Punk.
Yeah, I mean, and
it.
He's no longer wrestling, but he just... Yeah.
No. But, again, it's like, you serve yourself well. Like, when they know they can't fuck with you, like, they're not going to make you do dumb shit, like, then you can start doing really cool shit. You know what I mean? It's like, if you're going to sit there and fucking take it, then they're going to fucking do what they want to do. And they're not looking at you as like, oh, you're going to be able to draw or you're going to be able to sell merch. Or they're like, no, this is going to hurt my merch sales. This is going to hurt my ability to do other things outside of wrestling. It's like, no, I'm not doing this. Like, fucking say no. What's the worst that happened? They fucking send you home?
Yeah, I mean,
There's other places to go now. Like, yo, pull the card.
yep. And then next match we had was right before the old Royal Rumble. We had the Natural Disasters, Earthquake, Typhoon, with the great Jimmy Hart taking on the Legion of Doom, Animal and Hawk for the WWF Tag Team Championship. It was a count out. Yeah, I mean, the Naturals, they did. There's another kabuki finish. It was just like, I mean, it was. I mean, what were your thoughts on this match? I mean,
I thought it was weird that there's 3 tag team matches on this show.
yeah, it was,
That's a little, I mean, I understand why, because this still wasn't the time that you didn't necessarily put guys on twice. Like Piper did it, but you don't really put people on twice in the Royal Rumble during this time frame. Like you're doing just a Rumble at that point and nothing else. So I get that to a certain degree, but damn, 3 fucking tag team matches is a little rough. And like Natural Disasters and Road Warriors, like that's a cool match. Like, hey, you get into that, but not when it's a count out. And I think the LOD ends up losing the belts on a house show anyway. Like, you should just have them drop the belts here. If you're gonna have them drop the belts, have them drop the belts here. And I think they lost to, what was it, fucking Money Inc. I want to say they lost. To
yeah, I
Money
mean,
Inc.
I mean, on a house show, it's just weird. But I mean, yeah.
It's weird.
I mean, getting to the main event, it was the Royal Rumble. I mean, it was. I mean, what were your thoughts? I mean, because it was, of course, the winner, the final man in the contest would be the WWF champion, and I mean, it was a good match. It was a long.
Well, let's go back. Shut up. Let's go back, and let's look at the fucking guys in this Rumble. Fucking ridiculous. David Boy Smith, Ted DiBiase, Ric Flair, Jerry Saggs and the Nasty Boys, Haku or Ming if you want to be a dick about it. Shawn Michaels, Tito, the Barbarian, Kerry Von Erich, fucking Repo Man, Demolition Smash, Greg Valentine, Nikolai Volkov, Big Boss Man, Hercules, Piper, Duggan, Jake Roberts, Mike Rotunda, Jimmy Snuka, Undertaker, Randy Savage, the Berserker, John Nord, Virgil, Colonel Mustafa, the Iron Sheik, Rick Martel, Hulk Hogan, Skinner, Steve Kern, Sergeant Slaughter, Sid Justice, Sid Vicious, and the fucking Warlord. This fucking Royal Rumble is fucking stacked. Like a lot of Hall of Famers in this room,
Yeah,
man.
I mean, it was really good. I mean, what were your thoughts? I mean, going into it.
Well, I guess everyone. I mean, at this point, you're thinking Hogan's gonna win, 100%. Like, okay, they did this thing where Hogan could win the Rumble, and he won the prior two. Like he wins 90 and wins 91. So you're thinking in your head, the very least, hey, listen, Hogan's going to win it. Or a lot of people were thinking, I remember this as a kid. I remember this time very vividly, that a lot of people thought that Warrior was going to come back during the show. He's going to be a surprise entrance in the Royal Rumble. He was going to win the belt. And there was a way to put the belt back on Warrior while him beating The Undertaker or him beating Hulk Hogan. So, like, Flair, we didn't think. I don't know why we didn't think Flair. Like, again, I watched Flair. I knew exactly who Flair was. They did this real world champion gimmick when they had the belt and then they had to distort the belt. So he was definitely viable as the champion. And, a lot of people say that WWF did him dirty during this run. And maybe, I mean, there's a case for it, especially when you talk about the summer of 92. But at this point, like, putting the belt on Flair, he goes an hour. That's amazing. And he wins the WWF championship. And just a few months prior to this, he was the NWA WCW World Heavyweight Champion. So technically, he never lost that WCW belt. Technically, he unified them in this match. If you want to be,
I mean, Ric Flair's a champion. I mean, he was a fucking real world. I mean, but last week we talked about how this show was the Bobby Heenan show. It was. I mean, was it me or did he the entire night? He was comedic. Comedic. He was like, "Hey, Gorilla, can I buy you a hot dog? I gotta go." He was like, "Nope, you're not gonna go down, Bobby. You're gonna stay." He was like, he was so good. I mean, why was he so good that night?
I don't know. Be honest, but I think if you take Bobby Heenan's commentary off the show is not as good and it's not as well remembered right off the bat because let's be honest here. You got three mediocre fucking tag team matches and an IC match with Mountie, which is essentially a squash, right? And then you have this awesome Royal Rumble. But what makes the show memorable, which makes the show good, is Heenan and Gorilla's fucking commentary. And it's the first time that a commentary or an announcer has carried a show to make it excellent. Like, and I always put Jesse above fucking Bobby for sure in terms of overall work. But this one night, Bobby may be the best color guy in the history of wrestling. Period.
Yeah, I mean, he was so good. I mean, in Flair, it was. I mean, he was. I mean, he was awesome. I mean, when like you said,
And then look how Flair worked during this match. Like Flair wasn't like he was going after it. He wasn't like I hate Rumbles of today because this is a modern Royal Rumble. Everyone else, like, there's just two guys in the ring doing a spot. Everyone else is laying down. It's the weirdest fucking thing. But in these old time Rumbles, like, there's so much action going on all over the place. And there's guys working guys on the corners. There's guys doing, trying to eliminate guys. It's I don't like the way they do it today. But Flair is taking it two guys where you think, like, oh, he's not going to fucking chop the shit out of Haku. And then he chops the shit out of Haku. And he goes after Haku. He goes after everybody. He's out there to prove that he's the best. And you kind of, you begrudgingly get respect for Flair in this match. They could have turned Flair babyface in this match if they really wanted to, because I guess we'll talk about it now. They were booing the fuck out of Hogan during this entire match. Fuck what you heard.
yeah,
And I know, and everyone knows it's canned, and everyone knows that the reactions. But if you watch the original pay-per-view fucking feed on the show, they're booing the fuck out of Hogan. They fucking cheer when Sid fucking eliminates him.
yeah. I mean, and with Gorilla Monsoon, I mean, they had to do some editing. I think it was on the Coliseum version, one of the versions where he didn't agree with Sid how he eliminated Hogan, vice versa. It's just like it was just. I mean, people did not. I don't know. They could. People thought of Flair. I mean, of Hogan back then was not. They just wanted to boo him.
They're gonna stick of him, and this is like you start seeing the cracks, like in '91. You probably start seeing the cracks as early as '90. Now Hulk Hogan is a character, and we'll talk about this when we talk about our next show coming up. Hulk Hogan as a character has started becoming kind of douchey, like late '86, like going into the Andre feud, like he's being like a dick, and I think people are getting fucking sick and tired of him. The kids obviously still love him, but he's already went through a generation of kids already. So the kids who were 8, 9, 10 when he first started in '84, you're talking about 8 years later, those kids are 16, 17, 18 now.
Yeah.
And they're like, we want Flair, or we want Sid. Look at Sid. Sid looks amazing. Or we want Brett. And they're tired of Hulkster at this point, for sure, 100%.
Yeah, man, and you were just talking about kind of a teaser, that kind of tease what we have next week. It's all about Hulk Hogan. And
yeah, you were confused about this entire show and why I picked it. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to do Hulkamania 4.
okay.
And everyone's going to ask me, like, what the fuck is that? Now, back in the day, there was this little company called Coliseum Home Video. And Coliseum Home Video used to release, like, the best of Roddy Piper, or like a Heart Foundation's tape, or a Demolition's tape, right? And they would add anthology series on Hulk Hogan, right? And so I chose that the anthology series is Hulkamania 4. And it pretty much chronicles everything from 88 and 89. It goes over No Holds Barred. It goes over the main event match with Andre. So you see a lot of cool stuff, and you see a lot of never before seen matches. So they would take a lot of darks, like dark main events, and not the ones with Coco Beware, but dark main events. And put them on these tapes, or they will take matches from MSG or the Spectrum and put them on these tapes. There are a lot of international matches where you go to like World Tour and shit. You see some really dope like matches from like Italy and stuff like that. So lots of cool stuff. And then we'll talk all about the Hulkster, especially this, the late '80s Hulk Hogan. I think it's gonna be a really cool show. We're gonna go over a lot of his cool matches. One of my favorite matches is him versus DiBiase. It's a lumberjack match, and the Killer Bees turned heel, but they never acknowledged it anywhere. So the Killer Bees turned heel in this match, and it's really cool.
Yeah, That is weird, but yeah, I've never seen this this Coliseum home release, so I'm looking forward to watching it this week. But it's gonna be great. But for the great Alex G, as always, I am David Fine. Thanks again for tuning in as we look back and reminisce about the Royal Rumble 1992, and we look forward to talking all things Hulk Hogan next week right here on the Retro Wrestling Rewind. We'll talk to you in the past.
238 pounds in the black corner. From St. Louis,
Here comes Mr. Pro. Mr.
Andre the
Pro
Giant.
Gonna get his licks in on the bruiser. Hulk Hogan.
Number 1, the greatest WWE champion of all time, and in many ways, the man who made the title what it is today, Bruno Sammartino.
His opponent weighing 236 pounds in the white corner. From Van Nuys, California.